warriors, mighty Velonians, cunning cyborgs, and fearsome mutants. Your future now calls to you. The great creators of Velhalla have come to bestow the necessary knowledge for those who wish to gain insights on the path to Velhalla. All shall benefit from the vast awareness that the creators will offer along your journey. A journey that has now begun. Those who seek to fulfill their destiny would be wise to listen. For those who heed the words of the creators of Velhalla shall become a part of a new world, where those who seek to become legends are born.
The gods have been listening, and they have favored us. I'm your humble messenger, Savage Joe, and today we are here with the development team as well as the Fellowship of Velhallas. The gods have allowed us to select a few members of our community to join us in this epic display from the heavens. Without further ado, I would like to pass it off to our godly devs.
All right, guys. So we're the dev team, and then we're gonna give you an update on what we have done in the past month, and we'll try to do this every month. By the end of every month, we'll give you guys a progress update. So for the month of November, we try to set up the and complete the development environment, and also begins the character design. And obviously, with the MetaVerse, we need to complete some of the design for our MetaVerse world. So in order to have a longevity, a project has a longevity, we need to make sure that the foundation is solid. So all the design works is very crucial. So we want to make sure that we execute the design in the proper way. For today, we're going to give you an update on some of the design work that we did in November. All right, so here's the agenda. So first, we're going to talk about the art style, and we're going to talk about the MetaVerse architecture. And from there, we're going to talk about the in-game economy. So these are the three main design work that we did in the month of November. For the in-game economy, we're going to continue in December because there's going to be a lot of balancing and statistics and design that's relating to the unit. But we started in November, but more work will be done in December. And finally, we will talk about the next step, which is also in December and January, what we will be focusing on. So to start, we're going to talk about the art style. And here is our character design. So Jeff, could you take over?
Sure. So here's our character design. On the left is our initial art style. In the initial art style, we have a more of a painterly quality without any thick lines. It's more of like a Western toony kind of feel that you see in more modern games. And on the right, we have a combination of more comical style that's more reference between a Japanese anime character type of like features, but mixed with like a Western kind of cross hatching, like thick border lines, like give more a powerful feel. So this is like a blend between the American comic style and an anime character style. This is our new revised art style that we've chosen for the project. So on the right is what we're going to have. And if you can go on to the next slide. The next slide is actually some of the character designs we have so far for the races, the characters. We have the warriors, and we have different races going on here. There's going to be a total of 4 factions, and we're going to be developing more and more artworks throughout this process. For the next year, we're going to have a lot of characters out. We're going to have all sorts of different races, all sorts of designs from warriors, tanks, assassins, ranged archers, like mages, and support teams. We have all kind of cyborgs, techs, mutants, warriors, and a whole bunch of different area of characters available. And if you go on to the next slide.
Yeah, so the next slide is the landscape design. So a critical part of the landscape design, because it's everything is going to be done in 3D, and we want to make sure that the performance of running this environment it's capable of running on all sorts of devices, right? So that's number one. So the complexity of the 3D design cannot be too complex, and at the same time, the texture, because our camera angle is not too close to the unit, we want to make sure that the texture is not too complicated. The lining of the character cannot be too complex, because if it's too complex, if you look at it from far away, it's going to be a little bit too messy. So Jeff, you want to talk about this?
Okay, so we chose to have a polygonal texture. It's not overall too smooth because you want to see the details, but there is like elevation between the land and the sea. And on the surface of the sea and land, you can see a polygonal geometric shapes. And it's for a design element. We thought that it shows the landmass better. And let's see. Yeah, I think that's we have like that's.
Okay.
Is there anything we add?
No, I just want to mention that the texture of the 3D characters cannot be too complex, because if it's too complex, it's gonna look a little bit messy. So we want to keep it really clean, really smooth, and just making sure that the overall look and feel is clean. And while obviously maintaining the performance that's up to the par for some of the lower grade device as well at the same time. All right, so with this, we are going to move on to talk about our MetaVerse architecture. And throughout our design process, we came up with many different type of ideas of how we should, structure our MetaVerse architecture. So there are multiple ways of doing so. So we pick a really challenging way to design and develop our architecture. So the project, Velhalla, is going to be based on a planet system that that's going to have abundance of resources. The idea is that players are traveling in space, and then they're going to this planet and try to conquer and try to own a piece of land. And there are mining spots allow the players to harvest. And so, Jeffrey, could you explain this in a little bit more details?
Sure. We're gonna have a more detailed map on the later slides. But here is the planet where, starting from the North Pole, we have our tree, the world tree. Based on North mythology, the world tree is where land was spawned from the tree, and best resources are around this area of tree. And this planet will have a total of 160,000 pieces of land that is going to be for players to grab and trade and sell. And the purpose of the game is we're supposed to buy land or trade for land that is closest to resources, so you can dispatch units to harvest the resource and come back in the most swift and efficient way, or least time-consuming way. And the closer you are to the world tree, obviously, the better resources are. So the player's goal is to own as much land as possible in the key location where the resources are spread out.
Okay. And you want to talk about the home base?
Sure. Well, the home base is actually really interesting. It's a floating piece of, think of it as like outer space, where we have like the spaceship where we're invading this planet. And the home base is where our spaceship is. It's a floating piece of island. And we have our defensive structures on the top piece of this island. It's a 5x5 tile square, 5x5 tile, where you can place defensive structures. And the home base cannot be attacked by other players. And you have, sorry. The home base can move. The home base is a flying piece of land that can attach itself to other pieces of land on this planet. So hypothetically, if you purchase a piece of land on this planet, and say if it's like 3 tiles away from the resource that you need, you attach it to this tile, it takes whatever amount of time travels to the tile and back to your home base. So you want to purchase land that's close to whatever resource you want and attach a home base to it to reduce the amount of travel time. However, if you don't have a piece of land that you own, you need to transport the resources back to the equator where all the warp points are. So the warp points are the obelisks, the big stone obelisks that you see on this plan on the right. And those obelisks are far away from the world tree, the resources. So obviously you want to purchase land that's much closer to resources. You don't have to travel all the way back to warp point. You can travel directly to your home base.
All right, and you want to talk about this slide?
Hold on, give me a second. Yes. So the home base, you only have one home base. So if you purchase, hypothetically, say have 3 pieces of land, your home base can only attach itself to one of the 3 pieces of land. So for example, if one of your land is close to like a forest where you're going to harvest lumber, the other one is next to a gold mine, and the other one is next to a silver mine. And if you need lumber right now, you attach yourself to land that's closest to a lumber mill and transport back lumber swiftly and gather as much lumber as you can, and then shift your base to a new location. That say if you want gold mine, you harvest a lot of gold from that area. So your home base, it takes time for your home base to travel from one piece of land to another. So you gotta just plan your strategy, decide wisely on where to move your home base. But also, if you only have like fewer pieces of land, then you gotta decide like, is it worth the time to move my home base around, or is it better to just keep it there so you can harvest different resources from different areas? So there's a lot of strategies involved on how to properly manage your strategy, how to gather the most amount of strategy possible.
Great. All right. So we're going to talk about the home base and the DMZ. So Jeffrey, please go ahead.
Yes. So the home base and DMZ. The DMZ is the structure that's attached to the home base. It goes around a floating island, and other players try to invade your DMZ. And in this DMZ, you can build defensive structures like traps, towers, turrets, and place defensive units, kind of like a maze. You make your own dungeon, your tower defense dungeon, and players would send units towards you, and you have to send out different units to defend. And we're going to be talking about units later in the different slide. But right now, you have to know that units have different skills, and buildings have different abilities, and towers have different structures, and you got to build a maze, how to defend it. So there's going to be a lot of complex scenarios how to design your defenses. And as you raise your defense levels, like your units can be raised in level, towers are raised in level. These units become more rare, with more skills. The higher amount of rarity, the more skills you possess. And there's going to be energy. Like, for example, if you have like 10 energy, you can only spend like 5 energy would be like a pretty decent, moderate, good unit. Like a 9 energy would be like a really heavy, powerful unit. Or you can have a lot of like 1 energy units, like massive amount of like units, 1 energy units to defend. So there's a lot of strategy involved. There's going to be different faction classes, bonuses, and how units sync up each other. So there's a whole array of strategy for you guys to plan how to properly plan your defense against other players.
Okay, cool. So we're going to talk about geography. So obviously there's going to be different type of land as Jeff mentioned. So the closest to the tree, the more valuable the land will be. So Jeffrey, please explain different type of land.
Okay, so here we have 6 types of land: the Holy Lands, the Crystal Highland, the Grassland, the Tundra, the Molten Barrens, and the Wasteland. And let's set aside the Holy Lands for a moment here. The Holy Lands are inaccessible. It's the land with all the resources that's for events, for game, special events, maybe Christmas, Thanksgiving, like special events. It's not inaccessible to players. What are accessible to players are the Grassland, Tundra, Molten Barrens, and Wastelands. And they're going to come in different loot boxes, which we're going to talk about later. But these different lands give out different resources. And in terms of order, Grassland owns the most amount of resources, and they're one of the most desirable land that players want to get. And following that order, Tundra, Molten Barrens, and Wasteland, the resources are farther out and be less resources. So the most desirable lands are Grasslands. So you might be wondering, then what are the Crystal Highlands? Well, that's a really unique piece of land that is only acquirable by a rare chance when you purchase other lands. And we're going to show you how the Crystal Highlands is acquired later in a different slide.
All right, great. So so we lay out the geography for the planet. So this is like an atlas of the world view. And we are actually, these are the design that we confirmed and finalized. If you lay out in the 2D view, this is the atlas. And the region and the position is actually finalized as well. So Jeffrey, could you explain the labels that's on top?
So this map is actually different from how we generally see our world map. This is actually seen from North Pole as the center. So think of it as we're seeing it from top of the globe spreading out. So the center circle that you see there, that is actually the North Pole. That's where the world tree is, in the center landmass where the Crystal Highlands and the Holy Lands are. And by its side, we have 3 continents where different races are: the warriors, the mutants, and cyborgs. Their lands closest to North Pole, that's where the most valuable resources are. And you can see from like A5, B5, those are different type of resources like lumber, minerals, like mines. All the best resources are gathered around the poles. And the 4 dots you see are the warp points, which is the equators, the 4 obelisks. In this map, instead of having an equator on the center of the map, you connect the 4 dots, you make a circle with the 4 dots. That's actually your equator. So on the edge of the map is actually the South Pole. Like the South Pole is not actually a one single air spot. It's the entire outer rim of the map is the South Pole. And the center from blue lines connected is the equator. So you gotta think of it as a map open from the top end instead of a usual world map that we see. And as you get to the South Pole, which is around the edge of the map, that's where the resources are abundant. So the North Pole is where all the resources are gathered, and the South Pole is where all the other resources are gathered. So it's a lot of resources on 2 ends of the world, North and South Pole. And as you get closer to the equator, the less resources you have. So people want to try to trade, buy, gain land that is closer to the 2 poles in order to get resources that they suit their needs, basically.
All right, great. So I'm going to move on and talk about the in-game economy. In our point of view, in-game economy is the most pivotal and crucial steps towards a very successful project. And we want to make sure the economy that loops and cycle organically, and it fits all aspects of the demand and supply, right? It needs to be balanced, right? So in terms of the economy structure, so we have an overview here. So Jeff, could you please explain the overview?
Okay, so we have our NFT items, obviously. Our NFT items are combat units, but only when we get maximum 5 stars. You can upgrade your units by sacrificing units of this, like same units, identical units at each other, and to raise the star level. And once you hit the maximum level of star, which is right now we set to 5, that unit becomes NFT. And the combat tiles. The tiles itself, where you can design and build this map, this maze, the tiles themselves are NFT. And obviously we have the land. The land is the 160,000 pieces of land that's sellable in this game that we have. And as for the land, like we have here, it's for sales transaction. And the Holy Lands is 10% of the game is Holy Land. That's untouchable. That's not sellable. And each piece of land is a 10 by 10 tile where players can grow crops, mine, and build functional buildings like research centers, tech centers, for upgrading your units or upgrading the amount of resource you gather. And all the structures will count towards construction points and convert it into bonus stats for combats. Would you like to talk about staking?
Yeah, so we can talk about staking in a bit, but in terms of the buildings that you can build on top of the 10 by 10 area, it's we're going to release more information in the future, but ideally there's going to be resource type of building, and there's going to be functional type of buildings. So everyone will start from resource type of building. So essentially those are the harvest or production, the raw material production unit of buildings. And then once you have the raw materials, you could use them towards building your functional buildings. So the detail of this will roll out. For staking, we're gonna talk about staking in the future in a bit more details, but ideally is because there are many mining spots in the map. So you could literally send your team of units to the spot and to mine resources. And there are some other. We have a list of staking design that we would like to talk about, but not right now. But maybe in the next couple of months, we will roll out some of the details. So we'll skip this. So Jeffrey, please continue.
Okay, so the home base we mentioned before. This is where you purchase land and you can move the home base attached to the land. But home base is a standalone island and it's 5x5, and you can do the same on a home base you can do on a land, which is crop, mine minerals, or build upgrade research building, functional buildings like barrack and defense. And the defensive base, the DMZ, it starts with one tile block, and the size can increase with the player's level, which can increase also a maximum of 4 to 6 tile blocks. And I think we mentioned DMZ in the previous slide already, but yeah, that's basically
all right. So let's quickly talk about the units.
Okay, so the units is interesting. 1-star units have one passive ability. Every unit has a passive ability, and it is random. Like you could have the same unit, you have the same archer girl with like 5 different archer girls, but they have 5 different abilities. So it could be the same unit but different abilities. And as you sacrifice a unit of the same star level, you can upgrade a unit into the next star level and retain one of the abilities between the two. For example, if an archer has like plus 10% attack and another archer has plus 10% health, and you combine them together, you have 2 abilities. One is a new random ability, and you can inherit either 10% attack bonus or 10% health. It's random completely. And in order to make it not random, the surefire way to get a plus 10% attack is you have one unit with 10% attack and the other unit with 10% attack, and combine the 2 units with the same ability, then you will inherit that ability no matter what you do. So it's about like trading for the abilities that you have, so you can inherit and make better abilities to make the best unit available that you can make. So there's gonna be a lot of like passive abilities for every unit, and your goal is to find the best combination of units to create the best ability that you have. And each time you increase the star level, you gain a new random ability, which makes trading so important, that you want to trade for the abilities that you want to make the best possible abilities you can have on your unit, so you don't lose the random ability. The more you trade, the less random it becomes, because the more control you have over the abilities that you get. Now that's interesting, because once you hit a 5-star unit, that would make you to have a total of 5 abilities, and that there's going to be a lot of combination possible with 5 stars. And in this game, say if an archer takes 2 energy to place down, a 1-star archer will have only 1 ability, but takes 2 energy. But a 5-star archer with 2 energy will have 5 abilities. So the more powerful, the more abilities it will have, even if they share the same stats.
Great, cool.
Okay.
So let's move on to how the land is sold. So could you explain different loot boxes that we have? Okay,
so we have 4 different loot boxes, for the grassland, the molten lands, the tundra, and the wastelands. And going from prices, obviously the wastelands will be farthest away from resources, so they'll be the cheapest to purchase. And as you move on to molten, tundra, and grassland being the highest priced lands for sale, all these lands has a % chance that you can obtain a special loot box or a special piece of land that's the Crystal Highlands. So earlier when I said the Crystal Highlands is not purchasable because it is a random drop from any of the possible loot boxes. And when you buy these loot boxes, not only do you get a piece of land, but you also get a character loot box. And a character loot box gives you, when the game is released, you can unlock the loot boxes to get a character for your game, a defensive unit or offensive unit. And
okay, cool. So how do we get? How can we make a purchase to the land?
Well, we do have the we entered a Velhalla site. There's gonna be a Velhalla site where once you enter the introduction page, you connect your account to Twitter, and using your Twitter to log in, you can connect your MetaVerse wallet, and you can have connect multiple Facebook accounts or disconnect from different accounts. And through the MetaVerse wallet, you can pick a land and pick a loot chest for the corresponding land that you want to purchase from, either grassland, tundra, Bolton lands, or wasteland. And you use the currencies USDT, BUSD, or Ether to purchase.
Right. So we haven't actually finalized on which type of currency that we're going to use, but there's a typo here that talks about MetaMask connects to FB, so it shouldn't connect to FB, it should connect to Twitter. But the idea is, the reason that we want to have Twitter as the primary login approach for all players is because, if obviously Twitter is going to have much stronger security and in terms of hacking the credential system, right? So we're going to leverage Twitter as the primary login account. We could alternatively also ties to Facebook as well. But that's the first login, third-party login approach. It's very commonly used in many different apps. But then when you get to the purchasing part, you're going to log into your MetaMask wallet. So it's very similar to other game. And the reason to have this is because, if let's say, we could have MetaMask as the primary login, but if someone, they lose their username and password, they're gonna lose, their game progress and as well as their wallet, right? So by separating these two, there's gonna be a benefit of, if you lose your wallet, you still have your game progress intact, right? Because if you remember your Twitter login, you're still gonna have everything intact. Right, so that's the rationale behind this. Great. So we're gonna move on and talk about next step. What are we trying to do, and what is our goal, and what are we trying to accomplish within the next couple of weeks or next couple of months? So the primary goal and the first thing that we want to do is obviously get ourselves ready for the pre-sale. So we have our team, designing the mock-up and also laying out the technology stack that could serve the pre-sale. And that's the first and foremost and the utmost important effort that right now is going on within our dev team. So on this pre-sale page, you're gonna see that planet, and then you could view them, and you could purchase the loot box just like what we discussed before. And then once you make a purchase, you can unlock the loot box, and you will know the exact location on where is your land. Again, there's different type of loot box and rarity, right? So it comes with different pricing. All right, and in order for us to execute a pre-sale, obviously we need to create a land, right, and the planet. So the planet creation is a very difficult task, and it's not really trivial. What we essentially are doing is we are mimicking what the Google Earth is doing. So we have a longitude and latitude system that we design, and we wrap around a globe. And we have someone draw a texture of different continent, and then import the continent into the engine, and then we will use a method to calculate how to segregate those continents into bits and pieces of square. All right, so it's like a puzzle that we want to put together. So yes, that's just a very overarching view or explanation on how to create a planet. But let's say if you have 160,000 pieces of block, right? So the challenge is that it's really impossible to have you know, a low-end device, you know, look at the entire planet in one view while, you know, making sure, while experiencing a very smooth, you know, user experience, because the performance is not going to be good. So we need to have implement what we call the level of details, the LOD technology, meaning that, you know, we will do mesh combine, where you know, essentially at the highest grade of LOD, which is you zoom out the furthest, is looking the entire globe as a single unit, right? So this is some of the video that, you know, what we're in, our developers are doing, just to show you, if you zoom out the LOD, it will become one piece of land. But if you zoom in, then the continent will divide it into the actual pieces, right? So this is what we are working on. And here is another video. Let's see. All right, sorry. To show you the camera, how we plan to traverse the camera when we try to zoom in and zoom out. This is not finalized yet. We still experiment with different camera angle, different lighting effect, but this is all coming great, and we're confident this can be done in the next couple of, hopefully, months, and before and be in time for our pre-sale, which is early next year. Now, the final part, which is going to take a lot of our effort, is obviously the art production. So we came up with, during the month of November, we work on different mock-ups. We try different look and feel, different theme. And for our follow-up effort is to, you know, boost the production and making sure the 3D and the 2Ds are executed concurrently, and also test them out, you know, in the game environment, in the game build, making sure the performance is okay. Great. So with that, I think that's all we have for today. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions.
Yeah, wow, that's impressive. Looks like a lot of detail and a lot of things that you have to think about. Yeah, I'm curious, not kind of knowing much about game development and developers, but what kind of different developers do you need for a game like this? What kind of different skill sets?
Right. So for the month of November, especially when you talk about game design, we're gonna have our lead designer, which is he's great. He specializes in artificial intelligence, and he has a PhD degree in artificial intelligence, and his background is in mathematics. So the guy, and the team, needs to focus on the economy. It all starts from the economy, in-game economy, and from there, you're gonna grow. You also need to consider the MetaVerse architecture, right? So our designer, they have years of experience on designing the game architecture, so that's also important. And because when it comes to design, you also need to do proof of concept, right? So when you want to do proof of concept, your art team need to come in, and also your engineering team needs to come in. So so you're gonna need a server-side engineer and also client-side engineers, and obviously 2D and 3D artists all need to be coming during this phase.
Nice. Anybody else got a question?
No question. That looks amazing what you guys have going so far. It's exciting.
I actually have a question about the character design. Are you guys going to have it so that any players can customize the characters in any way, or are they going to be kind of just set in the design that you have, that you showed in the slide?
Right. I think that's a very good So that's a very good question. So we want to, when we try to when we first started designing this game, we kind of compare our thoughts alongside with some of the games that's out there, especially crypto games. And what we find is that crypto games, it tends to be a little bit lighter in terms of complexity or the gameplay. So if you compare some of the games that's out there to, like MMORPG, right? So the complexity is a little bit lighter. But having said that, we recognize that the trend of crypto game will become more and more complex, right? So at this point, as of now, we are focusing more on the units. So each unit is set in stone. Obviously, with just like what Jeff mentioned, there's different rarity, there's different grades. You could elevate the status of each unit. So we want to put our focus on the team, right? So in terms of customization, you want to be able to customize your team. Whereas the conventional MMORPG or ARPG type of gameplay, where it's focusing on one character yourself, which it has the avatar system, then you can customize different parts and different weapons and look and feel. Now, in the future, we may introduce a special unit, right, that can be customizable, right? So that is still in the discussion. But yeah, initially, we're going to focus more on the units and composing the unit into a great team.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
So one question too. So with that, when you get the characters, will there be small changes at all? Like, let's say the color of the clothing be different? Will things like that, the hair, anything like that?
Yeah, and then so we will consider that, but initially we just have one design, but we are discussing with different grades or different rarity of the same character, then we will have different color or different texture.
Oh, cool.
I also have a question about the characters. So I understand that the characters can be leveled up. Will we be able to purchase different types of upgrades or armor or any additional items to add to the characters?
Yes. So this is not in the release, the first release, but in the future, definitely that is still in the discussion, and we are definitely consider that to add that to our design.
I had a question too on the world, right? On the lands, when you look at the globe, will they all look different when you look at the globe? Let's say like the barren wastelands and the underworld looking area that's on the South Pole. Is when you look at the globe, will it all look different?
Well, because the globe is when you talk about LOD 3, which is the furthest away, zoom in terms of camera, the furthest distance, you're gonna see continent, right? So you're not gonna see the level of details that allow you to see some of the structure within, right? So, but if you zoom into LOD 2, you will start to see some of the bigger structure, right? And then if you zoom in, to the closest, which is LOD 1, obviously you're gonna see everything, and that is where you're gonna see your functional buildings, you're gonna see your resource buildings, and you could even manage your buildings, right? So that's just a different granularity, I guess.
Awesome.
So speaking about the lands, I'm looking at this picture and it's awesome. I'm already game planning, and it's crazy the amount of strategy that it seems is really going to go into this game. Now, why are the Velonians so far away from the world tree?
Well, even though it's furthest to the world tree, but it does have some valuable resources there.
I can answer that one actually.
Right.
So the three races are as close to the world tree because on the South Pole, there's going to be something else entirely that's not the world tree. Something else that's going to be on the South Pole that's going to be abundant in resources. Velonians are actually closer because you see how they're on the edge. The edge is the south pole. So actually on the edge, they're going to have resources that's equatable to the amount of resources in the world tree, because whatever is on the south, there's something there. And we're not going to tell you what it is yet, but there's something there that's going to give us equal amount of resources.
Oh man, that's exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question about the actual gameplay. When you're invading, say, a zone or a dungeon, what can you give an idea of what that's going to be like and what the fighting or the gameplay is going to be like at that point?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry.
So
go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeffrey. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically we'll be placing units down, and when we design the units, it'll be gonna maze-like, and we're gonna place traps, we're gonna place towers, we're gonna place units, defensive, and it's gonna be like somewhere like a tower defense sort, and except it's in real time, and enemies gonna be dropping down units into the map, and it's gonna go into the maze and try to attack the maze that we created, and that's to the best of my knowledge. Would you like to add to that?
Yeah, sure. So essentially, you can consider it as a tower defense type of game, but it's gonna look more like Clash of Clans, right? So Clash of Clans has where the player they can put different units on top of their on the attacking front, and then they will all charge towards some of the targets. So it's very similar, but with some differences, obviously. So that's on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, it's just what we explained earlier. With the type of different units that you collect, you could place them in the DMZ, right? It comes with different strategy, and different types of units will have different types of application. So you get to play on the offensive side, and you also get to play on the defensive side.
So when we're traveling to another DMZ zone to make an attack, is there any opportunity to be attacked on that journey, or is it more of a teleportation, or will we actually be traveling the lands to get to other places? How does that work?
Well, so we have enough travel already in terms of harvesting, right? So there's two major type of gameplay that we built into this game, right? So one is obviously harvesting. The other one is the core gameplay, which is battle, right? So harvest is allow you to boost up your productivity, but fighting obviously is to earn rewards and make sure you're in the highest status. So if we have enough traveling, we design in place for harvesting, we want to mitigate the amount of wait time for battle, right? So traveling will be limited for battle, and we haven't actually pinpoint and finalize some of the details on the battle design. But what we have now is we are leaning towards less traveling when we talk about, or when we want our player to play the core gameplay, the battle part, right? So we want to mitigate the travel.
I have a question. Are the units going to have like a fighting burn count? So what I mean by that is my character, when it fights, can it fight an infinite amount of fights and I will still earn, or will there be like a maximum fight count where I can still use my unit to fight, but because it has fought so many battles, now it will not earn more coins, or does it not have that feature?
Right. So that's a very good question. So first off, different type of unit will have different type of usage advantage, right? So for instance, the miner, right? If they are good at mining, right, you will obviously want to send them to somewhere to help you harvest resources, right? And then when it comes to different type of resources, you're gonna send different type of units. Ideally, these are what you called the count, right? They if you send them off, you can't really use them to participate in any battle, right? Now, when it comes to the battle part, for now, what we have in mind is because it's already have a lot of numerical, design that and parameters that the player needs to pay attention to. So initially, what we discuss internally is to avoid this at the moment, to not put too much pressure on the player, right? But in the future, we could discuss, and it's still up, for discussion, that some of the more valuable units will have some limitation. But now, no, not at this point.
I have a question about the land purchasing. Will there be a limit on how many different plots of land the players will be able to purchase? Or could someone potentially just go in and just buy up however many plots of land they possibly can, depending on like how many resources they're trying to obtain in the game?
Yeah. When we start our pre-sale, I think we're just going to release 6,000 loot boxes, and the loot box to the land is one-to-one correspondence, right? So you buy one box, you get one land. You just don't know which land that you will get, right? So at this point, we haven't actually discussed about, excuse me, the limitation in terms of how many loot boxes you can purchase as an individual. So yeah, so right now it's everything is open.
Okay, thank you.
So in regards to the battling, let's say someone comes to my DMZ zone and completely wipes me out. Will that be a new starting point for me? Like, will they essentially take over my zone? And if I do get attacked, where there will be a cooldown time where I'm essentially able to rebuild it and kind of get back on my feet?
The quick answer to that is there's no cooldown time, and then you recover right away. So the point behind this is that ideally, you want to incentivize player to attack, come back, compete against each other, right? The way that we incentivize the player are the rewards, the ranking and the rewards, and different trophies and different NFT items, right? So, and that's number one. Number two is if we allow a cooldown or recovery time once you get attacked. Imagine, unfair matchup, or if someone who just, been too busy doing something else, and then all of a sudden when he log back into the game and see everything he has is damaged, right? So that's not a very, some can do this. It's not a bad design, but for this, you want to make sure that initially, right, we want to make sure that the player gets a fair chance. They want to think about strategy, and they want to think about their goal, which is the ultimate rewards that they will get. And we're going to have many different type of rewards built into the game, different type of events, right? So it will encourage players to compete and earn their rewards. Obviously, there will be some cooldown mechanism that we're going to build in place, but there's not. We're not going to implement, the attack and damage and recover procedure within the game. Like, you're not going to log into the game and see, oh man, my entire defensive force are wiped out, and then I need to rebuild them again. No, so that's not going to happen.
Oh, that's good news. Thank you, man.
Yeah, quick question. So you're incentivized to basically invade an area because you're going to earn something. What is the incentive for the defense? Do they earn things if people are unsuccessful, or how does that work? Right.
So for both offense and defense, you're going to earn different type of points, right? And then it will count towards your ranking. The defense is just as equally important as offense, and even the best defense is the better offense, right? So there's a lot of strategy involved, and yes, the defensive side also counts.
Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. So in essence, you could build an amazing defense and wake up the next day and you've earned quite a bit because you just designed something really, really effective.
Right, and it also incentivize players to be active, go out and mine resources and make sure you have a very good capacity and production and dedicate those capacity and production into your defensive lineup. In terms of the core gameplay, which is, when I say core gameplay, I'm referring to the DMZ and also the offensive and defensive gameplay. We're gonna release a lot more information in the coming months, following our initial release of the planet, and we hope that also to release minigame along with that as well.
So maybe this is like later down the road, but you've mentioned a couple times mining resources. So what's my incentive or what's my reward to mine resource? Will I be able to increase my units like statistics like health, attack, or like get more money so that I can then spend and buy more NFTs and items?
Right. So I have a diagram which we came up with. It's a design of the mining economy, but I can't share it with you now because it's not finalized. But yeah, so essentially, right? There's two. It all boils down to two main items, right? One is the in-game resource. The other one is the token, right? And also we're gonna have in-game token and also SCAR, right? So first off, the player is gonna focus on raw materials, right? So when they first start the game, they're gonna mine raw materials with sending their unit to the field and collect and harvest these raw materials. So this is also what I call mining. But with these raw materials, they could create and build their resource building, and then there are also other resources allow them to build their functional buildings, right? And in order for you to level up your buildings, when you level up, obviously the productivity or capacity increase, and you're going to have more production. So those will require some additional resources, which will require the player to go harvest, right? So that's what we the in-game harvest or the mining economy that we have. But there are going to be minefield for some other resources, the more valuable resources as well. And in the future, we will also integrate the mining system to the event system that we have in the plan. So there are going to be seasonality factor, right? And different season is going to influence the production of certain minefield. So all this will be we will have more information on this in the very, very near future.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. I think that's good for now. As far as question goes.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Absolutely amazing, my friend.
I do have one more question, if that's okay. You mentioned that there was going to be a mini game, and with the mini game, will players be able to earn rewards in the mini game that will go towards the full game when it's released, or will it be more of like a demo sneak peek type of mini game where you can just play and not actually earn anything towards the full game?
Yes, sure. So throughout our entire development process and discussion that we have are always how can we make sure that there are no work that's been wasted, right? So the ultimate goal is everybody is when they spend the time make sure their time is valuable. So our goal and our priority is to make sure that whatever we release, they are and they can be utilized in the future, reusable, completely reusable in the future. Now, there may be cases which we may not be able to, but we will try to mitigate that to the maximal degree. We will try our best to make sure that whatever we release, it's a part of the game.
Awesome, that's good news. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's great. I think we're good here.
All right, cool.
That was a long. Thank you very much for that demonstration.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Looks great.
Thank you.
Thanks again, guys.